Spaciousness, the space of consciousness, where we talk about our holistic well-being. Again, I'm June, and I'm your host for this podcast. And I have been meditating for quite some time now, and I have tried many kinds of meditation. And having practiced meditation for quite some time now, I've realized that there is meditation for every situation. And this is what I we will talk about in this episode because everybody gets stressed. No one is immune to it. If you're busy and perhaps you have zero to little time to take a break, then mindfulness or meditation may be just for you. One of the techniques that I teach, particularly my students, right, before we start our classes, is the Anapana meditation because it's the easiest to do, all right, at least in terms of approach, because you don't need a headphone for that, okay, you don't need a guide for that. It's self-training wherein you focus on your breath. You just focus on your breath. It is the most basic form of meditation. All you've got to do is to imagine that you have a triangle here, okay, from the top of your nose to the side of your lips. All right, that is one big triangle. All right, and all you've got to do is to actually focus your breathing in this area. So if I'll do that, all right, it's simply okay. Breathe in through your nose and breathe out through your nose, and breathe in through your nose and breathe out through your nose while you are focusing on this area. Now, you have to know that there are many kinds of meditation. There is a formal meditation, there is also informal meditation, right? Informal meditation is where you sit maybe with your eyes closed, all right? And then you just meditate, right? You just focus on your breathing. Informal meditation is when you associate it with some kind of movement, maybe or walking, right? And when you're walking, you are completely aware of how your body moves and how you breathe and how your breathing changes as you make the movements, right? There's also, and this is one of my favorite kinds of meditation, is when I am working and it seems stressful. And I try to practice conscious breathing, right? We call it conscious breathing, that even if you are working, you are constantly in touch with your breath, right? And so, for example, you're typing and you have your keyboard with you in front of you while you are typing. Okay, you're still focused on your breath. Okay, while you're typing, or maybe you're talking. Uh, so while you're talking, you're still conscious with your breath. All right, you let it come in through your nose and come out of your nose. And one of the things that I like to do is actually check the quality of the breath. When we check for the quality of the breath, um, we, we notice we notice those tiny little things. Maybe it's the breathing is sharp, or maybe it's soft, all right, or maybe the breath that's coming in is thick, all right, maybe it's thin, or maybe you can also check the temperature of your breath, all right, as it goes inside your nose. Okay, you can also check for its temperature. Okay, and when you check for the temperature, maybe it's warm, maybe it's cold, maybe it's neutral, or sometimes you can also check for the uh, quality of the sensation here. Now, sometimes there are a lot of sometimes it becomes itchy. All right, but in meditation, informal meditation, you're not supposed to move. That is informal meditation. You're not supposed to move, no matter how no matter how you have an itch in your body, because the one of the aims of meditation is actually non-reaction. Right? Again, when we say non-reaction, it doesn't mean we're passive, right? It's just that we know how to observe the sensation under our nostrils, right? Now joining me in this podcast, all right, is a yoga and meditation teacher and also an ICF or International Coaches Federation accredited life coach. And, she's joining us from the UK, okay, the United Kingdom. It's, I think, 1 p.m. I'm not sure. Tanungin natin siya pagpasok niya. So let's give it up to the beautiful Kristine Navarro. There you go. Hi, Kristine. There you go, Kristine. Hi. Hello. I can't hear you yet. All right. I'm not sure what's going on. Check, check. I can't hear you. Maybe you are muted. Are you muted? So Christine is joining us from the UK, right? And she's been practicing meditation for quite some time, and she's also a yoga teacher. And so I'm so happy to have her here with us. Okay, can you say something? Oops, oops, she got disconnected. Okay, it happened. Sorry for the glitch. And so while we are waiting for Christine, right? Again, the purpose of meditation is non-reaction, right? One teacher taught us, right? One teacher taught me that everything is an itch, right? Everything in our life is an itch. So it's either you scratch it or you just observe it, right? And so when we meditate, so if you feel like perhaps your nose is itchy or there are sensations in your body, instead of reacting to it, right, we observe it. Okay, we analyze it. All right, not necessarily analyze, but we simply feel it completely. Right, we just let the sensation allow. All right, we allow the sensation to be, rather. Okay, and we allow the sensation to somehow play, all right, to somehow play around. And you can observe it, all right. So maybe right now, as you're listening to me, there's a part of your body that has tension in it, all right. So instead of reacting and saying that maybe your body is stressed, instead of reacting like that, all you do is simply observe the stress or the tension in your body, all right, and allow and relax your body. Okay, so let's see. May Ting is already back. Okay, ta-da!
Right. Sorry, I disappeared. My phone.
Yes, right.
I
You're
was trying to join from my
here.
phone, and the phone wasn't letting me unmute myself. So I
All right.
quickly switched to my laptop. So yes, very excited to be here. Thank you so much, everyone, and thank you, June, for having me.
All right. Of course.
Yeah, it's a delight to join you.
Yep. All right. Thank you for co-creating this podcast. All right, where we will be teaching people to practice mindfulness. All right. So anyway, Christine,
Mm.
how did you discover mindfulness? Okay, I'm just interested because my story is
Mm.
so I got so stressed in the past. There was just so much stress happening around, and I was looking for something that I could bring with me wherever I go. And then I encountered meditation. And then I kind of encountered meditation. At first, I started with guided meditation where I had to put some earphones up to the time where I could just focus on my breath, right? So I'm interested with your story. How did it start with you? Your journey to meditation.
Oh, mine is quite a long story. Thank you, June. But I think with these things, sometimes you do have a trigger event that leads you to starting these kinds of practices. For me, it was not just a single event, it was actually an accumulation of so many different events. So, um, I have been teaching yoga anyway for 15 years. So naturally, I was already into meditation. And as I've developed my yoga practice, I've become more in tune with my spirituality. So over the years, I have really explored consciousness, spirituality, and I think meditation is really a huge part of that. Um, but as a human, my human experience in this planet hasn't been exactly smooth sailing. So I've had so many kind of interesting things happen
How interesting
in
can
my
it be?
life. And one of those things is actually I've gone through a divorce.
Mhm.
So I was married. He was a lovely man, but we weren't meant to be together. Our beliefs, our values were very different, and I just felt that we were really growing apart. So unfortunately, the marriage didn't work. And it was such a tough time for me to actually make that decision to separate from my husband. Um, but also at the time, the pandemic came, so that was there in the background. Oh, I'm in an office, and we have like sensor light sensor here. So let me just move around so I can
All right,
actually
so you
turn
can,
on.
so
Here we
ta-da!
go. So, ta-da! Let there be light.
Let there be
So
light.
yeah. So as I was saying, there was the divorce and the pandemic, and at the same time, I was moving to a new house. It was my first time buying my own property. It's very difficult to get a property here where I live in Oxford, UK, because this is actually the most expensive part of the UK, similar to London. And so that was a very stressful time with me. And there were also pressures of work. So I was actually burning out. And I also had issues with my health. I was um, recently diagnosed with endometriosis, which can be very debilitating. So all of that um, happening all together was really quite a challenging time for me. So I had to find a way that will allow me to ground myself. Um, and I have gone through like the traditional route where I spoke to my doctor. Um, given me, they've referred me to therapies, but that really helped, um, you know, not helped very much, basically. It was of little help for me. So, knowing that I have some background of these things, I've just delved more deeply into these practices. So, this is where I really started to take my meditation and in mindfulness practice very deeply, very seriously. And what I did was I've studied as a mindfulness stress reduction practitioner. So it's something that I do now to help other people get better because I
MBSR.
have had
MBSR? MBSR?
MBSR, yes,
Ah,
MBSR. So I'm an MBSR therapist, and I do incorporate that in my coaching as well because one of the things that I really help people with right now is helping them overcome their anxiety and stress.
correct.
Having been on that receiving end, having experienced it myself, I know how horrible it can feel, how debilitating it can feel, and how helpless you can feel if you're not getting the right kind of help. So yeah, this has really become my mission now to help people overcome their stress, their anxiety through these spiritual meditative practices because we really have the ability to help ourselves with the right guidance. We Once we realize this, then there will be that sense of empowerment that just washes over us. We know that whatever life throws at us, we have the ability to go through that gracefully.
Right. So one
Yeah.
of the things, all right, I think one of the things that most people, all right, who would like to try meditation, I think one of the challenges they feel they will face is that what if they cannot focus, all right? Because there's this, there's this notion that if you are meditating, you have to be completely focused, all right? That there's
Yes.
this, um, that you have to really sit still, stay still. How do you, or what can you suggest to these people who perhaps haven't stayed still for maybe around 2 minutes? Because even in my meditation classes, I would observe that
Yes.
for a lot of people, even 2 minutes seem like a lifetime to them, and it's just 2 minutes. So, what can you say, or what can you advise to these people?
Well, what I would say to that is because I hear this a lot as well, not just um, about meditation, but also yoga. They say, "Oh, I don't want to go to yoga because I'm so inflexible, or I can't meditate because I can't sit still." But that is actually the whole point. The point of the practice is to help you get better, help you develop those skills. So it's like, um, you know, I'm very dirty and I stink, so I don't want to take a shower, right?
I
So
like
that's,
that.
yes, so that's kind of a really funny but powerful analogy. So when you meditate, there is this notion that people already have to be good at it, but really meditation, especially mindfulness meditation, because there's many different kinds of meditation. But mindfulness meditation is really just being present in the moment, meaning you don't need to force yourself to be in complete silence and be in a state of transcendence, or you have just white light in your mind. You're not,
Yeah,
no
another thought on
thoughts.
that, because a lot of people have this misconception that when you meditate, uh, you have to be so serious about it, and
Yeah,
that
not at all. Yeah.
with meditation also comes abstinence and all these
Mm,
spiritual path, although it's a part of it. But what a lot of
yeah.
people don't realize is that meditation is actually fun.
Mm.
It's actually
Yeah.
so much fun to do. All
It's
right.
very helpful as well. And it's something that you can do anywhere, anytime, in whatever duration of time, even if it's just 10 seconds, 1 minute, 5 minutes. If you're really experienced, or if you really want to get serious, then you can do it for 1 or 2 hours in one go. But, you
Yeah.
know, it doesn't matter how short the practice is. The whole point of meditation is to find that moment of awareness and mindfulness in whatever you're going through in that day. So, for example, here in my workplace, I'm a staff member here at the University of Oxford. I do teach mindfulness during our town halls, and I think that this is a really good initiative because we are always in these meetings in our day jobs. We are really experiencing a lot of pressure, so many deadlines. We go through so many meetings, sometimes back to back. We don't even have time to breathe. So, starting our day with just a moment, just literally 5 minutes of mindfulness, where you just sit down, go in, find your breath, and feel your body. This is really what mindfulness meditation is about. So, you are not trying to push anything away. So, if you have thoughts, of course, as humans, our brain is designed to just go everywhere. So, it doesn't matter. All you need to do is to acknowledge, to feel, to notice those thoughts flowing.
Acknowledge, feel, notice.
That's right. And you don't need to panic. You don't need to push it away. All you need to do is to acknowledge that it's there. And then once we realize, okay, I'm thinking, we don't need to either push it away or chase it. So, not being entranced by that train of thought. As soon as you notice, oh, I'm thinking, all right, let me just come back to my breath. All right. So, it's not something that we need to force. And of course, this will improve in practice. The more we do it, the more we get better at it. But it's just an interesting thing to actually try for yourselves, is just see if you can find that moment of quietness, just be in the moment. And being in the moment, the one of the best ways to do that is to find an anchor. either your breath or your body, because the anchor is what's going to um, keep us in the here and now, because our mind, the tendency of our mind is to take us to the past or to the future. That's as a as a very unique species in this planet. We have our prefrontal lobe, which is very unique to humans. So this is our executive part of our brain. This is what allows us to travel in time, thinking about what we did yesterday, or
Tomorrow,
further
the
in the past,
past.
or plan for the future, strategize. No other animal can do this. It's unique to us humans, but which is a great gift. But the downside of that is that we tend to not live in the present because we're always thinking about the past or planning for the future, or worse, worrying about the future. So um, it's just a good practice to really find something. Oh, my lights went off
We'll
again.
have to call
I'll
the
sort
light.
that out in a minute. Yeah, I'm gonna dance in a minute. But yes, that is the whole point of mindfulness meditation, is we don't need to force anything. We're just
Mm.
observing.
And I like what you said that breath is your anchor because I
Hmm.
think a lot of people, as much as everyone involuntarily breathes, they forget to really breathe, as in really just breathe in and out. And
Hmm.
in relation to our species who actually think about our future and our past, our breath, whenever we breathe, we bring ourselves back to the present moment.
That's
Yes.
right.
All right.
Hmm.
So MBSR, the mindfulness based stress reduction. How
Hmm.
different is this from guided meditation, or yeah, how different is this from guided meditation?
So basically, MBSR is just a way for us as practitioners or therapists to empower the client to develop their own mindfulness practice. So we don't need to be there and guide them all the time to meditate with them, but teaching them how to develop their own practice. And there are many ways that they can practice
So
mindfulness. Mhm.
whatever works for them. We help clients to
Exactly.
actually find what works for them.
Exactly. So I think the point really is to help them feel empowered, that they don't need to rely on external forces like therapies. They don't need to even rely on a mindfulness or meditation teacher. They don't need to rely on meditation apps. They can do it themselves anytime, anywhere, because stress and anxiety can happen anytime. It catches you
Anytime.
at the most unexpected, surprising moments.
All right. And
So
if it's
when you know that you have these tools and you carry it around everywhere with you, then that already takes away a lot of the anxiety, because you know that you have the power to help yourself.
all right, I'm just curious, all right, because you work in Oxford, right? And
Mhm.
I'm just curious, how is the reception of the people there to mindfulness? Are people open already? Because here in the Philippines, I also work in a university. A lot of people are not very open with it yet. I mean, not just yet. So I'd just like to know how's the mindfulness culture there in Oxford.
Oh, it's been very well received, actually. I think mindfulness is actually even a buzzword now, these days anyway, in the corporate settings as well. And being a yoga teacher, it's quite a common thing to talk about in the yoga community. But as a yoga teacher, I've also made it my personal mission to incorporate more of the mindfulness aspect back into the yoga practice, because it's it's really unfortunate that this 2,000-year-old, even more than 2,000-year-old practice, which was really based in mindfulness and in spirituality and all these wonderful philosophies that teach you how to be more relaxed and have a more joyful, fulfilling life. We have somehow
Don't we all
reduced
like that?
into a physical exercise, into a physical regime. So I've made it my personal mission to bring it back together.
All right.
Because yoga is union, yoga is body and mind and spirit. It's just um, a place where all these things come together. And so we just need to be reminded that these things have always been together. Um, it's also very much welcomed in the work settings. In fact, yesterday I delivered a talk to a group of executives
Yes,
in
I saw your
Africa,
post. Yeah.
from Africa. Yes, so yeah, and they were very engaged, enjoying it very much. So we were practicing mindfulness, and I've also taught them some somatic practices that they can do anytime, anywhere. We were just in the main meeting room with their desk chair. So it's really just that showing that they can do these practices anytime. They don't need to be in a yoga studio or a special shala or a temple to meditate. They can do this even when they're really busy in their offices, and that's really the whole point. Because these days we don't have time to actually go to these special places. We're so busy in this modern society. So anything that can help bring us back to the moment will actually very very beneficial.
All right. And so I'm sharing now the screen, all right, where you actually conducted the where's this? This is where you work, your place of work.
Yeah, this is in the business school in the University of Oxford. So in the business school, they offer executive programs where either groups from a particular company come to the school to learn about leadership or innovation, whatever topics they need to equip themselves to become better leaders. Sometimes we also have open programs where people come, they enroll themselves. If they fit all the requirements, then they can be accepted into one of these programs. And these are really some of the things that are actually included in the um, in the curriculum. So
It
not
is
just being.
already included in the curriculum.
Yes, we do have
Wow.
things
Right.
for their well-being, but the timetable has a lot to do about being resilient, self-care, because all these things actually add to um, you know um, developing your qualities as a leader.
All right.
And as a leader, if you're not able to ground yourself, if you're not able to listen to yourself and respond consciously to what is happening rather than just acting on impulse all the time, then you won't be as an effect as you can be. So I think it all really starts with working on ourselves. And the more that we can really listen to ourselves and feel what is going on inside of us, and that's through the practice of mindfulness and meditation, or even embodied mindfulness. Um, Embodied mindfulness is really just feeling the sensations in your body.
Yeah.
Um, then if you're not able to do that to yourself, then you're also not going to be able to notice what is happening around you. So how can you take that awareness? How can you have awareness of the person, what's happening in the person in front of you when you're having a conversation, like a really important conversation about work, a business deal, or when you're trying to serve all your staff members, for example, as a top level CEO. If you're not able to see where they're coming from because you're so close, you don't have that level of awareness, then you're not living your fullest potential as a leader.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think one of the misconceptions again, all right, and I think that it's really important to just touch the part where a lot of people think that if you practice meditation, that you're not supposed to get angry, all right, that you're not supposed to be sad anymore. But what a lot of people don't realize is that the purpose of practicing mindfulness is to simply again acknowledge that you are feeling something and that you notice
Mm,
that feeling and you bring it to the surface. So there's also a practice of non-attachment. Now, Kristine, uh,
exactly.
yeah, suppose I only have 1 minute. All right, suppose I only have one
Mm.
minute. Would you mind giving us a short demonstration of how we can practice mindfulness or mindfulness-based stress reduction method, right, in our daily lives?
I'd love to. Okay, so
Awesome.
I'll guide you through just a short meditation practice. Um, and so I invite everyone to just take a comfortable seat wherever you might be. You might be on the floor, might be on a seat. Just allow your feet to relax on the floor, soles of your feet rooting down. And then allow your hips, your sit bones to also relax on whatever it is you're sitting on. Feel free to roll your shoulders back so you feel a little bit more open in your chest. Allow the arms to hang heavy along your sides and for your head to just float above your heart. And now, just closing your eyes, I invite you to bring your awareness to your breath. And without needing to control or breathe in any particular way, just observe how you're breathing. Noticing the sensation of the breath and where you feel it in your body. You might be feeling it in your nostrils, maybe the back of your throat, maybe in your chest, maybe in the belly. Just notice where you feel the breath the most. And just observe, how does it feel? Maybe you're feeling the temperature of the air, the cool breeze on your upper lips. Maybe it's a vibration in the back of your throat. Maybe it's the rising and falling of your chest, the expansion of your rib cage, and movement of your belly muscles. And whatever it is you're experiencing now, just allow it to be. No need to judge or change anything. Just be fully present in your experience. Notice the body now. And just see if there's any particular sensations in the body that might be calling your attention. Maybe it's the tightness in your shoulders or your back. Maybe it's a pain elsewhere. Maybe you have an injury that you're nursing. Maybe it's an itch somewhere. Just acknowledge it. without trying to push the sensation away. In fact, what I'd like you to do if you feel an intense sensation somewhere is to give it kindness and loving awareness. Just like a crying child, hold it gently. And by doing this, notice how this sensation starts to dissolve. If you have any stress or anxieties that you need to heal right now, notice where you feel it in your body. Often it shows up right in the front of your chest, your heart space, or sometimes it's on your stomach. Maybe it's in your forehead or the back of your head, or anywhere else that you might feel is tender or sore. Bring your awareness to that area. And again, give it some love. Bring your mindful attention and hold this space with kindness, with patience, not pushing it away. By simply bringing these parts of us into the surface, by allowing ourselves to hold it with this kind, open awareness. Then we'll find that the intensity of the sensation slowly reduces on its own. The sensations will then begin to fade away. There may be times when the intensity might get stronger. That's fine, don't panic. Because the body is just an unending river of feelings, sensations, and emotions. And none of these things are permanent. Just like our Buddhist friends say, nothing in this world is ever permanent. Everything comes and goes. So if we just observe it when it's there, soon enough it will go away on its own. So just rest here for a few more breaths. Bringing your attention back to your body. Noticing how you're feeling now. Making an inventory of how you're feeling physically, mentally, emotionally. And whenever you're ready, bring yourself back to consciousness. Begin to wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers. And gently open your eyes.
Wow, that
Okay.
was an amazing experience.
I'm glad you liked it.
Awesome. Yeah, it was awesome. All right. So and we have some people watch. We have some people watching. All right. We have some people watching. And they're the uncompromised Anita Stevens is watching us. Hi. All right.
Amazing. Anita is my fellow coach. I'm glad
Oh,
you were able to join us. And Carmela,
Carmela is my fellow teacher. Right. So
amazing.
there's from Anita Stevens. Hi. With
Great.
practice, Kristine, you're both so right. The problem is we are all suffering from the extreme stress and anxiety these days and need meditation and grounding more than anything because it requires practice. And the current society is okay. It's cut. All right. All right. Thank you, Carmela. Thank you so much for tuning in with
Mm,
us. I know you just grabbed a piece of your time from your lunch break. And so I'm very, very grateful to have you here, Christine. And
no, it's my
for those who are
pleasure.
watching us, okay, for those who are watching us, if this has been a contribution to you,
Mm,
that you can share this video, or maybe you can go to YouTube in my channel at June Hebrew, and please follow Kristine Navarro as well. All right, in her social media,
you.
right, in her Facebook, and you can keep in touch with her. So maybe you could do some corporate classes with her. All right, embodied mindfulness yoga. All right, and again, this is
Mhm.
offered in different business schools as part of their curriculum. How wonderful is that? So if this is your mission, all right, I think I hope a lot of people have this kind of mission to actually just share mindfulness with people around us. So again, thank you guys for watching. All right, Christine, thank you very much.
You're welcome. So, yeah,
Rich.
mindfulness is not just not still not just to clarify, it's not a fixed part of all executive programs curriculum, but it is getting there. Generally,
Oh, all right.
resilience and mindfulness and yoga classes are being offered, but hopefully, because this is also being trialed in different schools in the UK, and that research from Oxford University, Cambridge, and universities in London as well, in Exeter, are trialing mindfulness, and it's resulted in some really profound positive effects in both the students and the teachers. The teachers are less stressed out and burnt out, and the children feel more connected and are kinder to each other. And yeah, so let's watch this
More
space.
connected and kinder to each other.
Yes, yeah, really important. I think if everyone just practices mindfulness meditation in the world, then really there will be no wars. So hope everyone here on this call can become an advocate of meditation and mindfulness. Let's spread the love. Thank you so much, everybody.
Okay, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Again, I'm June. I'm with Christine Navarro, and this is Mindfulness for Busy Bees.
Thank you. And do look me up, Embodied Mindfulness Yoga. Thank you,
Bye.
everyone.